parallels between quantum physics and Vaishnava Hinduism. In the early 1990s, scientists studying the tiniest parts of matter discovered that reality works in ways that are really hard to imagine. In quantum physics, particles act like waves. Certainty is replaced by probability, and simply observing something can affect what happens. For example, electrons don't move in neat, predictable paths. Instead, they exist in many possible states at the same time, until they are measured. At the smallest level, reality seems less like a machine and more like a cloud of possibilities. Long before quantum physics existed, Hindu sages were already thinking about reality in a very different way. Instead of focusing on how the universe works mechanically, they focus on how reality is experienced through consciousness and awareness. Hindu traditions also described advanced individuals who, through deep meditation and spiritual discipline, attain siddhis, mystic abilities that appear to transcend the known laws of nature. Now, in quantum physics, the observer effect suggests that measuring something affects the result that you get. Experiments consistently challenge the idea that reality is completely separate from the observer. In a similar way, Eastern philosophies often question whether the observer and the thing being observed are truly separate. In the school of Vaishnavism, consciousness in the form of spirit souls, Atmans, are seen as the most fundamental parts of eternal reality, while the physical world to them is viewed as something temporary and partly shaped by illusion, Maya, formed by our karma, actions. Because of this, some interesting similarities appear between quantum physics and some Eastern traditions. For example, quantum superposition, the idea that particles can exist in multiple possible states at once, can resemble the idea that reality is not fixed until consciousness is involved. In Gaudiya, Vallabha and Nimbaka Vaishnavism, the universe is understood as ever-changing, contingent and wholly dependent upon Krishna, who sustains all existence through his various expansions. As Karanadakshay Vishnu, he breathes forth innumerable universes. As Garbhadakshay Vishnu, he enters and pervades every individual universe. And as Shiradakshay Vishnu, he dwells within the hearts of all living beings as the Super Soul. Each of these manifestations of the divine relates to a distinct and exalted level of consciousness. All living beings across the universe perceive reality according to the degree and quality of their own consciousness. Thus, amongst the millions of species, the universe is experienced differently by each being, in accordance with its awareness and capability for perception. In Vaishnavism, the material world is not independent or self-running. It is continuously supported by the Supreme Being via other higher forces that exercise influence over the material elements. There is also the understanding that there are non-spiritual, negative beings in the universe. Anyway, another similarity with quantum is the idea of connection. Quantum entanglement shows that particles that were once connected can still affect each other over huge distances, in ways that seem strange to classical physics. In Vaishnavism, all living beings are understood to be spiritually connected because, as mentioned, they come from the same divine source. In quantum terms, the Supreme Being could be understood as the primordial and ultimate observer from which all conscious observation originates. Both approaches challenge materialistic independence, implying that matter does not act alone. But it's important not to push these comparisons too far. Quantum physics is a scientific theory based on mathematics and experiments, while spiritual traditions focus on meaning and personal transformation. The similarities are more like shared ideas or perspectives, not proof that science and spirituality are saying the exact same thing. Even so, both quantum physics and Vaishnavism encourage people to rethink their assumptions about reality. Quantum challenges the idea that the universe is completely predictable and independent of observation. Vaishnavism, and especially Gaudiya Vaishnavism, challenges the idea that consciousness is just a side effect of matter that somehow evolved by chance over many millions of years. Science explores these questions through experiments and equations, while spirituality explores them through meditation, scripture, and devotion. Both cases are simply different forms of science. The deeper people look, the more alive, mysterious, and exciting the universe seems. Thanks for watching.